Tangke do je 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 re sun zhuan, yin je ma do du je bang jiang ba, sir je lung ba da per je be ge, xia je je be je dong ge zha yin za, du jian 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 de lo na ro dang, ma ba ma la ji je gang bo ba, pa mo zhe ba jia wan zhe gong ba, ge je la ma nan je da juan je. Dananda Zara Tamja Lama Laba Laya Jesus Lazon Yanden Janzang Alavan Dendra Donjendra Bagela Zor Dagelo Jesus Rover Sinja Labdo Sor Chia Lamdan Rover Sinja Labdo Zor Lan Truva Zevar Sinja Labdo Zor Truva Jesus Javar Sinja Labdo Zor Ganga den jen de wan jo ga ba me ba je ba me ba da me ba wa me ba ro me ba da de do me dun je zhe ba ni je je de ba zo bo zon je ma nan je dan ba de la jan zo to zhen je zo ba la ma je je ko zon do je xian lan da da Dage Jalan Bede Dage Dimba Dan Sun Jin Jia Dong Jia Jian Ban Zhe Bar Zhen Jia La Du So Gang Da Zu Jia Dong Gen Jie Din Na De Jia Long Mar Jia Ba Gang So Da Ten Dra Tung Be Jia Jia Jian Be Yin Bar Du Ba Dan Jian Der Jie Jie Nam Mo La Ya Ge Da Lu Da Nu Jian Ge Zhuan Da Da Me Ya Ge Na Rō gāng jē rā gā jē dāng bā tam jē gā dā dā gā jū dēn dō. Nāng kwa dā nyam bē sim jīng tam jē lā nā mē bā yāng dā bā dzō bō sāng jē jī gōng bā rōng bō chū tō bā rā chā dē chī dā tam bē chū kāng kī. Sī nē tō nyam sā lāng jō nyam bē sāng bā sāng chū jū dō sēng jī bā dāng. Qin ju nin be gun ju lan de ma nyam bo go ne sim bar char den de la gang sim bar sa chu ne je Gampopa de ni jin ze be lam chu ren qin cheng ma de ri de ni de da de ren ma bang war sha be chu je yo re din ang ge da ju ba de yin sa ba.
So, to begin with, bringing all sentient beings as vast as space is vast to mind, and with the wish that all beings may be placed in the state of fully perfected and complete awakening, that all sentient beings may attain the state of Buddhahood, then please listen to the Dharma teachings, first cultivating a mind of Bodhichitta and taking the necessary measures to adopt the attitudes and mind states that should be adopted and to abandon or set down those that should be avoided or abandoned. And so then picking up with these teachings from Gampopa on the precious garland of the Supreme Path, we are in the category now of the 10 things not to be abandoned. And within that category, we have left off with we are on number 10.
Jirtang das sanje chumdin de ke dikpa chen ma ja shin sumba dar de ngana zo ke lunga yi sumje jeb digba thamje tene lunga yi sumla tsarmin de dunga ke rangin chan ro yu zang digba jiang ma za shin song tan de nangba yin ba da ma yin ba lona gen ba da yin ba da ma yin ba tsama ke dongar mendo ba jing chong yin du tani digba lan zang go wa de kar chen bo re song re
So, in general, as the Buddha said, or as it is taught by the Buddha, do not engage in even a single wrongdoing or even a single negativity. And so, since it is through the doors of body, speech, and mind that we create actions of negativity or negative actions, it is also through the doors of body, speech, and mind that those negative actions ripen in the form of suffering. And so, therefore, whether one is Buddhist or not Buddhist, whether one is young or old, whatever situation among the great diversity of beings, all sentient beings want to be happy, and no one wants to experience suffering. And so, therefore, it is so important or so crucial to adequately or properly recognize negativity or non-virtue.
dani gewan pusum sobarji da gewan pusum sobarji sonde da ngaran so lunga yi som jugone dani gewa drog gogore sonre jumsen kan shibai na dani gewa tene dewu ge jure tenda insang ngaran so chamala goa te dewari tene dewa de la jomar sibala jocheng mi na tene dewa de jumi chimi le yom mata pe na ta gewa dogore sonre
And so then, as he said, perfectly, as the Buddha said, perfectly gather her virtues, or perfectly gather an abundance of virtues. And so, since the virtuous actions or virtuous deeds are also accumulated through the doors of body, speech, and mind, then we need to make an effort at all times to continuously gather virtuous deeds through the three doors. And what is the reason for this? Because it is in dependence upon virtue that the fruition of happiness ripens or arises. And since all beings wish for happiness, and since there is no way that a fruition cannot arise if there are not the appropriate causes and conditions, then it is absolutely necessary to practice virtue.
tene rang semne yongsunder song te sondu de pa pang scenari gewa drip scenari zo chikute semla ra le de yo ba yin chang tene so ke semde dorje te karchim bori semder sondu zo so sentone danjin hiwarsi gowa te karchim bori panjate danjin chi tene ngaran sola goya te jamnin je changcho ko semde chado yo bari tene changcho ko semde jula machi ba chibar siba tang tene ngaran sola lower kuchordo yo ba Danzin te Pamar Sibala, Teni Dami Top Shrabla Rale do by Indu, Teni Dami Top Shrabla Tinte, Teni Janinja Chanchokasem, Machiba Chipar Sibata, Chiba Kong and Power Siba. Then around the Jula lower culture to you, but dancing so Pamar Siba Teta Nawaina, Tenitella, rank Semni Yonsundor, Shipeton, Te Chada Yores.
And then, as the Buddha says, completely tame your own mind. So the Buddha's teachings are to completely tame one's own mind, and the way and since abandoning negativity or avoiding negativity and non-virtue and practicing virtue really is dependent upon the underlying or the motivation of the mind, then it is necessary or very important to completely tame one's own mind. And the way to tame one's own mind is by diminishing the attitude of self-clinging. So first, it is important in the first place to recognize the presence of self-clinging or self-grasping. And then the method or the means to abandon self-clinging is through the methods of love, compassion, and bodhicitta. So causing bodhicitta to arise where it has not yet arisen. And then this temporarily then leads to the diminishment of the mind of self-grasping. And the more that the mind state of bodhicitta is habituated, then the diminishment of the self-grasping is achieved to a greater and greater extent. Until eventually one is able to realize the wisdom of selflessness, the truth of selflessness. And so causing that bodhicitta to increase where it has arisen, or to not decline where it has arisen, and to ever further increase, then leads to the full development of the wisdom of selflessness, fully realizing the selfless nature. And through that, then, the mind is fully tamed. So it is through this process that one completely tames one's own mind.
Tate tabu hakovar chete, teni ta tara tongsin chipate. Trepjing, Jokbu, Luji, Chuju, Mabang, Nuba, Chongyang, Yindong, Samba, Mabang, Sondoa. Teni ta taken Gary Sunka Yore, Shubayena. Tangaran Zog Ji, Tabayena, then Jerdangata, Luju Gone, ta Soju Bawa, then Mazimba Limbar Bawa. Then Lobar Yamba Pong La Soba Dairy. They Gandu Tarong around Sokaji Chatang Korba Chiata. Then that Lujugon is in La Ropacia, Pintocheva, Mambo Yorova. The social Tana Chiak to Kumbayo Batang. Then it's also Zubola Tanaka Chitavak and Nubayo Baina. Then Tanango Yore Sonre.
And so the 10th of these 10 things not to be abandoned is, it says, what is accomplished through sadhana is the physical conduct of dharma, so it must not be abandoned. Another way that this could perhaps be worded would be practices, and then it says the intention to benefit others, which needs little physical ability, must not be abandoned. practices and the Dharma practices and sadhanas are the Dharma of the body, so such activities should not be abandoned. And so by abandoning the negative activities of the body, such as the negativity of taking life, the life of living beings, the negativity of taking that which has not been explicitly given, and the negativity of sexual misconduct, all of these all such negative activities of the body must be abandoned. But on the other hand, one should make an effort to exert the body or to exert oneself in the physical activities of virtue, or the activities of virtue with the body, such as prostrations, circumambulations, physically doing what can be done to help others. And so all that one is able to do, to whatever degree that one is able, one should strive in accumulating virtue through the physical door of the body.
다 절당 남바 마인버 왕의 세바 이나양 다 드랭카장 베나 민칸라 네바 망보요레 다 데라 민바당 민야바 다 그런 속에 로바 삼지 마자바 난그 요바레 데 차마 루주거네 게와 삼지 마자바레 땡아랑서 남바 인버 왕의 땅두 데네 나랑 속에 Koran zola jisi yarang chiya tang, teni nepa tang, teni tselende simba tamche la, teni jamning ji jugo ne, teni munglang jaya, nepa tu sun yurdo ya cha tubya ke munglang jaya, ne nasa tu sun yurdo che tubya ke munglang jaya, teni tselende zonga tamche yang, teni nisong ke dunga tamche la chorde, teni 산지 주고망 토토바당 대민의 대니 추거다 롱거 쭈거 강롱게 신칸의 제토야 대답 몰라 자게 요르라 다 대답을 돈에 자국의 요르에 송세
So even for those who are not Buddhists, so for instance, right now, during this pandemic, there are many who are going to great lengths to help those who are ill. For instance, all of the healthcare workers in the hospitals, all of the doctors, they are doing so much to help those who are afflicted by this illness. And so through their service, through their efforts, the virtue that they are accumulating through their body, through the door of the body, are inconceivably vast. These virtues are inconceivably vast. And on our part, for us to rejoice in that virtue is also a great accumulation of merit. Likewise, to really feel the impact of the suffering experienced by many beings right now, those who are ill, those who have been affected directly and indirectly by this illness, when we generate love and compassion and really make strong aspiration prayers that all who are ill may be swiftly alleviated of their illness and suffering, that all who are suffering or who are adversely affected may be healed, may be helped, that all their obscurations may be purified, that they may be liberated permanently from the suffering of rebirth and in the inferior states or in the lower realms, that they may reach the state of fully perfected awakening or Buddhahood, or at the very least that they may be liberated in the Buddha realms, or that they may be reborn in Dharmakaya or Sambhogakaya Buddha fields. And so when we make aspirations like this, then also it becomes a very vast accumulation of merit.
Tan namba yimba ke ngaran zongo hiba ke tanra minba ta min yaba mambo ke tene neba to solaro ba nangdo tren kazan roina. Ta de chama gewa samje machaba yore sunam samje machaba yore tenra yensang te ngaran zo ke kurang zo yang tene luk detang dang tene neba tamche la pinto ya bo ya ke molam dekko yang yore la molam dekko ya de karchimbori.
So many of you who are Buddhists, and we know, maybe many of us know, people who are healthcare workers, who are doctors in the hospitals, who are right now working so hard to help the situation, and to rejoice in their virtue, to recognize the inconceivable vast extent of their virtuous merit, their virtuous deeds, and to make aspiration prayers that they may remain healthy, that they may remain physically healthy and strong, and that they may be able to help as many beings as they can, or as many beings as possible. That to pray that their efforts are in helping are very vast. Then this also becomes a great way to this is also an important way to gather merit.
Ta minba tang mi yapa korte penchung re penchung te mayimba ke to ne yang ta penata tarang arang so ke mambo ke tuchu mambo tang ne che ta lo le ri traja rin de su gang ne tene che kachun ro de sa he ya la so ban da tham che kachu he ya la so ban da tham che yang ta mambo teng sang ro in chilo lon ro ma tha tene le ka mi bala so ban da ke ne tang cha andu tene sem la ka nga tang tanda mambo chi yong ko yo ba yin zang ta de tham che la chi pin ya ge chi de tene de chu mambo tang ne ka chu lama ge bi ni mambo ge ka chu he ge yo ba re de tham che ya bo sin tene de so chi yu de ya bo ni char de so ke la lin tar ne sa ni da na ni tene lo ji ma da wo tanda la pha ya ma ya ba chi ne tene tuchu tega rang thola simthola surjarne tene nyamsulin ta tabaina tene taso ga tin pindo chimbo yong yo bari te ndu ta che tensang lakpar ta tren ka chan roina che samba karbu go ne mamambo ke chek la ropa chi ya tang tanda nang ke yore taso kar chimbo re tene ngarang so pinchu ha ko to ne pinchu ji se yang ji ne tana nang thumna te pe ya boris.
And so also even those who are not healthcare workers, who are staying at home and are engaged in different activities, as we all have a lot of time now, a lot of free time. And so many are offering Dharma on the internet through over the computer, So many are, sharing the Dharma, teaching Dharma, and so forth. And because people are not able to leave their homes, since they're not able to go to travel and to go here and there, then there are a lot of teachers, a lot of Dharma teachers who are offering an abundance of teachings and practices available online. And this is to clear away the mental difficulty or the internal difficulties and struggles, or the difficulty of the mind. And there's really great benefit in this. And so as one is able to listen to the instructions, to really use the opportunity to attend these online teachings and events, and to really listen well, and to really put whatever it is that one learns into practice, to not put it off, but to practice right then and there, without a kind of an inclination to say, oh yeah, later on, tomorrow, or the next day, but really right then and there to apply what one has learned, to really let it deeply saturate one's mind, and to really put it into practice. Then there's really just most certainly great benefit in that. And not only that, but as we see in the world around us, there are many expressions of people helping one another with pure intentions. So there's a lot of goodwill and efforts to help and benefit one another. And so when we rejoice in that, when we really feel uplifted and rejoice in that, this is very good.
다 대답 돈이 주바다 저 마방서 취지다 저와 마방와 좀더 다 소속에 니르게 초와나는 냠리 난거고 여러와도서.
So then with the 10th, then that concludes these 10 things to be abandoned. So having received these instructions, then really holding on to them and practicing accordingly, it will be of really great benefit.
다니다 히퍼샤브 추저 나데 담보데 치 나만 트런도베 디미드 히퍼자소 마란솔라다 megla zongrami nangdoba dang amchola kecha zangi mambo thuyong ba dang denin nala trashimba da majamba mambo chongyong yang da jela ro shimba da majamba la so mambo yong ya dang dada thamje dong to ne samna tamba ina dimbar mador ba nang samle dimbar mador ba yin za dimit higore songre tene tambo dimbatro de basi dimit hiake higosne te kejate hieke yomare tambo yor korang ngune dimbar mador pa imbala imba tarde higore sumare.
So then next we have the 10 things to know, or the 10 things that should be known. And so first it says, since the external appearances are deceptive, or actually I think in this context it might be better to translate that word instead as delusion and deceptive is the same, but it's really, so since the external appearances are delusion or delusory, one should treat them as unreal, or one should actually, it says really they should be known as unreal or not real, or they should be regarded as unreal. And so all of the phenomena that appears to us, whether, the appearances that we see, the forms that we see with the eye, that we usually respond with like or dislike, the sounds that we hear with our ears, the pleasant and unpleasant sounds that we hear, the smells that and fragrances that we smell with the nose, the pleasant and unpleasant fragrances, the tastes that we taste with the tongue, the delicious and not so tasty tastes that we taste with the tongue, and so on and so forth. These are all actually empty of any real inherent nature. And so it is important to know them as such, to identify them as such. And it isn't as though they were actually real, and then we impute upon them some lack of true existence, or we sort of definitively alter their nature so that it becomes unreal. It is actually the intrinsic nature that from the beginning, they have always been empty of any real substantial nature. And so in that way, by recognizing their lack of true existence, we are identifying reality as it really is. We are seeing them as they actually are.
Tan chura de ke jisen rang sung ayina chung kare yore hibayina tne reda migjo la chakpa tar de sung yore te kare sung te kare sung yore hibayina perna nyama chawo hyan de du tene jangringbo ne halam chi chon rawo jin thong da jak jajane samsan chakpa rawo ban do ho ban rawo chi te tab ta yeda shu ka kom na da cha and teni korang zo chola rewa chimbo ji teni ta jangring bo ji ni chö zo da no thong telan ro yang te chö ma ye yang teni pha ro ji ni yang jar tel tha rang wa ji ni chö ro ji thong de make ta pa tan ran ro na teni thama chö chu ni mi yo ma ro ina control wa teni chö ta tu nang de teni ti ji san rang ro ya yo ro te ta bo ngarang zo ke ta je chilo ke nawa da tham je la sem de ying so wa ina teni ngarang zo teni kamsong korwan din nandu kamsong korwa dongar chi jam son din nandu zon ta me pa ne go yo ba yin zang ta ko chwa yin ba ha go yo re song ta hi yeda kanang do yo ke chö de koran so ke lamsang te o chö ma yin ba ha ko so ina teni ta ko kable jan ro go yo marwa tambo kha kom be dunga che yo riti kalakta ro matha ya ke dunga yo ro du chot marawa ke dunga yo ta te ta nyom go wa tambo ni o te choma yin ba ha ko so ma na teni ko dunga mambo je serto ko yo wa tina yin res.
So the problem with following after delusory appearances, or deceptive appearances, is that, for instance, it's like the example of a deer or some wild animal chasing after a mirage, which always, so what happens when when a deer follows after a mirage? So because far in the distance, they see what appears to be like water, because, especially when the sun is very hot, on a very hot day, and the sun is shining, and there appears to be what appears to be water, like a lake of some sort. It's really appears as though that the water is really there, and sometimes it can even appear like rain falling. falling. And so if the animal becomes attached to this appearance and they really think that there's water there in the distance, and they walk very, very far, but each time they are, as much as they walk, then the mirage just gets further away. So they walk and walk, but it continues to escape them, and it still appears that there is water in the distance, but they never arrive. And in the process, they just get more and more thirsty, and their body gets more and more tired from walking, from going, such a far distance trying to get that water, which is entirely elusive. And so in the same way, when we follow after or chase after, or hanker after appearances, believing them to be real, we still never satisfy our craving, and there's still never end to the suffering, and it only perpetuates the phenomena of the three realms of samsara. We end up just ever sort of trapped in the cycle of cyclic existence without any possibility of escape. And so, on the other hand, when there is recognition that these appearances are delusory, then one need not endure all the struggle that comes from chasing after delusory or deceptive appearances. So, for instance, in the case of the wild animal or the deer, if he knows to begin with from the get-go, if he knows that the mirage that he sees in the distance is not really water, even though he might be thirsty, he knows that there's no point in trying to follow after it. So he doesn't endure the added suffering of chasing after the water that doesn't really exist and tiring himself out and becoming even more thirsty. So in this way, simply by understanding the delusive or deceptive nature of the mirage, a whole bunch of different levels or added layers of suffering are cleared away.
Nang simni dami dendobe tongbar hibarja sonre. Tangaranzo nang semde tongotone dami beranjiris. Ta dami beranjin bate tani dami hibate kantaryan tongba ni granjinri. Ta tongba ni shöndu chi tongjang migan rawo lekon rawo te wala ko yo pa mare tongba hibate chakchim hola nana sumba na yinke yoba mayin jarwe jangma zik meba mayin konde kunji ye sumba yindo yomi nike talende ba data brang yin jin ji imbare data brang yin de yindu ngarang choke data brang yin imbala imbar ha magone dara dami bala dadunzi mazang wala zangwarinzi data 영도 그 여러봐 된다 인장 다 난그 샘코랑 걸 따용바 이나 코 동바 그란신 다음에 그란신리 되는 데이터도 희고 그래 손리
So then, number 2 of the 10 things to be known says, since the internal mind essence, actually it says mind's essence, is selfless, it should be regarded as empty. And so inwardly, the essence of mind itself is really selfless in nature. And so to understand the selflessness, one also understands this as the nature of emptiness. But this emptiness is not like nothingness. It's not like an absence or complete nothingness, like zero. But for instance, to understand emptiness is, as it says in the aspiration prayer, the Mahamudra aspiration prayer, it does not exist, and yet it is seen by all the victorious ones. It doesn't exist, and yet it is the ground of all samsara and nirvana. It is that which transcends the two extremes of existence and non-existence. So it transcends both extremes of existence and non-existence. And so once this nature is seen, then one is seeing things as they actually are, selfless in nature, without the confused veil of self-grasping. When there is the confused veil of self-grasping, then we take that which is selfless in nature to have to be endowed with a self, and we take that which is impure in nature, that which is unclean, as being clean or pure. And so looking at the essence of the mind, when there is the understanding of emptiness, then it is likewise understood as the nature of selflessness. And so this is what is to be known, or how it is to be regarded.
Tela teni tara kajuba wand cheba ina chaja chimbo song talkayo bare teni nganjur nimo wand cheba ina teni zopa chimbo kada song kane taba song gdo tenrabe ne tayong ko yori kantar nga wand sena nga sarma ta nima si nis sendu main karetanari matanari ko tung yelok wand seba ina teni ta ta trupen ta tamje da trawa tendra je ke ranjin jiri tendra yimba la teni trupchin telo bak sumba na yinke tomi torna chaja chimbo top sumba na yinke ko che gadrup tang panglang jarba teni yuba ta mipe talende ba ngubo tan simran zimba le yongsu jorba teta bene lokte
Gadrup panglang
gadrup tang pa gaj tang churduya teken talende ba teni pa pang yoya trawa tang chur lin ya rawa teta ben ta tamje le trawa te teni sacha yimba je tang teni ne tang yimba je gangni tsar mogo wa soso ke semko nalo la ranche se yo de ba lam nari semje ne lok de yimba la yimba zamde ngo hisuma ina teni ta semje ngo korang ngoni teni trama ke le mam nyong ba truwa ke teni le mam nyong ba o te ta ba yung tin tin ba chi yimba indu teni ngaran so ta te ha ko go yo ba re
And so this empty, selfless nature, which is mind's true essence, is what the Kagyupas refer to as Mahamudra, and the Enigmapas refer to as as Dzogpa or the primordial purity, that which is pure primordially or from the beginning. And so there are differences with regard to how this is referred to, or the names that are given, the labels that are given with respect to the Sarma and Nyingma traditions, or the older and newer traditions. But though the labels might vary, the meaning is the same, and the meaning is that which is beyond all elaboration, that which cannot be that which is beyond the realm of conceptual comprehension. And so, as Tilopa has said, once that which cannot be obtained, when non-attainment is attained, one has attained Mahamudra. And so this nature is beyond all elaborations. It is without, beyond accepting and rejecting, beyond adopting and discarding, beyond accepting and rejecting, or adopting and discarding. It is not to be looked for, searched for in any other place. It doesn't need to be sought out in some faraway place. It is recognizable as the true essence of one's own intrinsic awareness. And so when the intrinsic awareness, the true nature of one's own mind, is understood, is identified or seen, then it is seen as it is. That which is seen for what it really is, or seen as it really is. It is really understanding reality as it actually is, and not as it appears. And so when this nature is understood, when the one understands that the true essence of mind itself has never been stained, it has never been diluted, it has always remained free from defilement or delusion.
Tan Zambalin the Gangla, Namba Ina Yang. Data was some good nail there. Langsang Hako Matopa in Zang, Ha Matomki Mambo Yoba in Zang. Then Sanji jumped in the Mus long simple, Jiwchimbo, Tumba Nipa Dava Trapper, then Pango Papa Ludup de Niji. Then Mutin Tony Garambatoni, Tina Babde, then Tony Jodang, Tony,
sorry,
that data was some good nello there, then Namba in Yang, Lamsang, Ha Gomatoki, Mambo Yoba in Zang. Then Sanji jumped in the key, Mus long simple, long tin yapper, Jiwchimbo. Then Dakjak Tumba Nipatava, Kantar Sanji Nipatava, then Gumbo Ludab Deniji, then Tony Tony, sent the tin about Yongobare. Then Tony Judotang, Tony Dunjulas Bogona, Rekpanamra Mambogoni. Rekpa namran Thai Bugoni, then it ain't about the same thing or to your body, same go there.
And so, since even for Buddhists, since this true essence is not immediately accessible, or since for many it isn't easily understood, the Buddha himself, the transcendent conqueror, foretold or had the premonition or gave his prophecy that the second, that a great being, who in fact could be regarded as the second Buddha, the great Nagarjuna, would appear and would elucidate the nature of emptiness through vast, or through great kind of detail and description in such a way that followers of the Buddha Dharma would be able to really develop a certainty with regard to the nature of mind, that through this detailed analysis of the different aspects or types of emptiness, such as the 16 types of emptiness, or the 70 variations of the aspects of emptiness, that through such examination, he would give an introduction. He would be able to point out the nature of mind in such a way that beings could develop real confidence, certainty.
다 데이터베 생근내로 데 또서나 핀토 가래 요리 zon드다 아 데니 마운 산제 자차 잠방곰보 그물럽 아 데니 방군 따라테 토미 저세 토미 콩게 데니 덴다가 생근내로 데게 용딘 되는 때랑 알아서게 배동도 지름바 세네 다 대다보고는 띵나 팜네 아 되니 되나나요 그 파리스
And likewise, so what is then in order to likewise their tabosem togna pinto
sem gnelo de hakona pinto kare yore samna ta de ke sem ku yongtin tamje tinji ke tinju terera ha te ta lo da tom
Tome. So if the mind is realized as such, to know also the qualities, the benefit or the qualities of this essence, these qualities were also taught by the second or the future Buddha Maitreya through kind of the his representative Asanga in the treasury of Abhidharma, where the qualities of the intrinsic essence or the true nature of the mind as the kind of inherent or the simginilo giyonten kante kanta
the quality of mind ere ya po hamo
yeah tenda la in yini yang dele mangwa chik song the qualities anyway these qualities of the true nature of mind
tarati tomi de jatsap jambango mongulap rewa jatsap jambango bokorang sanje ke jatsabra hyakjatu bak jatsap 대치 송사로.
So ure samsar.
알았어. 다
They told me the jamba gombo gi gyaltsap, dini the jamba gombo the sanje gi gyaltsap.
때 말에 잠방공보데 산제 자차르와 토미데 잠방공보 그 응글롬 응스 응럽저디 가르스나 라마데 당 로마데니 샤르무스 파신 자르데와들 응럽라르와 베나 다라 가랑소 말아레바 응럽 차요 말이 이난 가치는 뭐지 응럽 차도 요로와 가치는 번데는 응스 가치시요 응스 당와 티당와 히어터버 요로와 땡 응럽 말아레바 ken가랑소 그다 주글로마나 차도 요로와 말랑소 저는 가랑소 말아레바 주글로마
That's all. So I apologize. Actually, he didn't call Sangha the representative of Maitreya. Actually, Maitreya is like the representative of the Buddha, but the Shakyamuni Buddha. But Sangha is the one who actually appears or incarnates, who's kind of like the conduit for Buddha Maitreya's wisdom, through which it is delivered into this world. And so, for instance, we don't meet, we cannot meet Milarepa in person, but we have met Garchen Rinpoche in person. And so Garchen Rinpoche is like the conduit of Milarepa's like blessings and wisdom. And so it is through Rinpoche, through our connection with Rinpoche, we are also all the students of Milarepa. And so it is in the same way with Sangha and Maitreya.
ngacho la ina ngacho ngarang cho ngarang
Rela.
ale las ya teni ta
Kaya ignore songe. Ngacho Milarepa loma chayo re gi Garchen Rinpoche gi shorla. Mareve.
ale ta ngulab da julab zede
Maybe intikela.
ju gloma lab de kare no lavuna injikela ngulab la yate
So actually, there's a term. So why this is a little bit complicated is because actually there's an actual term for this in Tibetan, but I don't think it can actually be. It's very difficult to find an equivalent term in English.
yeah.
De patir yomari.
Las.
Habore sangdo.
las. Teni ta tata jawakaju bala chan somba yena teni ta ngarang choke chirtang kaju bachikbo mare da te kang tar yang durzang gare la tanda tang toni ke lam tang teni sem ko yong ting ke lam tso ni ting lam ba ne teni torgo yo ba ri tena yenzang ngobol lo de tang thomi la so ba thamje ke ti chi de ta tin ju mang bon ze na yo ba ba teni yang hlomanga khela hlomal ta durzalam na ri hlomanga khene teni lama gewshini ke teni sangun ne lo te ngote ne teni hloma ke ti sangun ngote la ta ne teni nyamsle ne teni ngon thongkin yo ba yenzang ta perna marba mala ta batang teni mala tang Gampopa ta race.
And so in the, not just the Kagyu tradition, but in general, because the diversity of beings to be tamed, because there's such diversity of beings to be tamed, Then there are different methods or sort of paths through which recognizing the nature of emptiness or are more accessible depending upon the particular constitutions or dispositions of beings. And so for some, to really gain an understanding of mind's nature and the qualities of mind's nature through the scriptures or commentaries, the vast quantity of writings by Nagarjuna and Sangha, for instance. It is through familiarizing oneself with these teachings or these instructions and explanations and so forth, that one really develops a sense of certainty with regard to mind's nature. But then for some students, it is more accessible through direct transmission from a spiritual teacher. So a student relying upon a qualified spiritual teacher receives an introduction to the true nature of mind. And if that upon introduction, that nature is realized or understood, then one habituates the recognition through practice, as is with the example of Milarepa or Marpa and Milarepa, or Milarepa and Gampopa.
Perna po na ta tanda nyamni nang kin tham che ken nang tanda yong do ko yore lama ge shin den non dro lama ge shin la ta sengmo chi te ro chi song hyana ya hyo yoro wa tene lama ge shin ke ta zer semjong o tolan de he nang tanda nang du tene don thang ga he tang dawang ga he lo gom ja chi tene gom ja chi du yang koran so yong te koran so gom ko nyam nyong da wo te ya lama ge shin le shyo te na chi du tene lama gevshini ke ta semgo de khatok tre na ndgen do tam do ta lama gevshini ka ha ko yorwa tene ganga hela tene o ta tara semjung o de tre ga na ndgen do samya ke gondu te ke yor yang ga he tarong koranzola semjung o de lamsang tre ya tu su rim do gona yang tarong tene ti de dangwa yin da yin ga ton mambo nang ke yo parewa ta te kare chin sho yu ba ina semjung o de dongbani de dami ba ji yin ba yin na teni ngombo lo do la so ba ge toni chro ta toni dunjo la so ba to ne karachin tinju mambo cham de wari samne tin si bar wa de teni ngarang so ge tinju mambo cham lo jong mambo go ma da wa semjung o zen teni ha ko ya la yang sam khin yo ro teni te karesina ga hek lamsang ha ko to ko yo mare tenda yinzang yang ga he ko te zungang ge la zhuo wo zung de zhuo bu ran yin jin yin du teni te su su la che zo ge lo yang ga he tenda ge rig pe nam dang mambo go ne tin la pa ne to ya la zhuo yo ba dur za tenda yo ro wa lo ma ta gu ba ta jim sim mambo yo re cha ma ta ra he ta ma ro
So then, for example, there is the tradition, like in Tibet, there are many who will seek out a particular spiritual teacher, and they will request pointing out instructions. They will ask to be shown the true nature of mind, and then they will receive instructions from the teacher for a number of weeks. The teacher will explain or will give instructions for several weeks, and then the students will go off and meditate for a time, and then they will return to the teacher, and the teacher will be able to know whether, based on the practice that the student has engaged in, whether they are really ready or not to receive like direct introduction or direct pointing out. And so then if it isn't that they are ready yet, then they will continue with further instruction and of another sort of different pith instructions, and then the student will continue to practice and so on. And so sometimes we might think, well, if one can receive pointing out in this way, then what is the point or the benefit of really going through all of the study and training as has been, with like through reading all of the material by Nagarjuna, for instance, and really examining the 16 types of emptiness or the 70 aspects of emptiness. But it isn't always the case that upon receiving an introduction, direct introduction, that a practitioner is really able to recognize upon introduction that they're actually able to realize the true nature of mind. And so and there are some who have a real sort of facility for being able to understand through that type of analysis. They actually really enjoy this kind of study and examination of, really breaking things down in such a sort of a detailed and refined way, as is presented, by the great Indian masters. And so some have really enjoyed that approach. Actually, there's different, a lot of different reasons why there is such an array of methods, but we can't really get into all of it right now.
Ta sumba tere parje namto jinji sendok be lower de shiparjas. Tenen kita yige tseging nordha Puyek nan tseging nordha lower zute ta te joran karchim bachada yora ta sojourned lower zute lo te nordha.
Oh, okay, laso. The NGK chick bare lower your sare.
Alright. Samsang around so tseg de karchung chung tse yabaina. Teni dege yomare te kansina. Tanye lan matin paras, tanye zut tseg de la matina. Tambutun to manjurus. Tambutun matona, nyangin de ba top manjurus on ta tseg de zolang nanchong. Tanye de la matin par, tanye tseg la matin par zenan de sarwa. Tambutun to manjurus. Donda de hakoto marzodra, songdo. Tambutun matona. Nyangin de ba top major, nyangin de ba zuta sanje komarawa. Donda ganelo matona sanje komarawa. De sumba bod saying a drink that de long de mabon drinker that kaduina long dint de ka that de sumba bod drink mado pajar sajak kepachina chigiri. Sajan Khenpo, that's so dreamers. Sumba person dreamers that take the yore.
That's all. Oh, dirang.
They take the karchim.
So then, that's all. De dalla ya yurela manang.
Ale okay. Then that don't that lamra.
No. Kare. Yeah. Tata girya yurve or mangsa sumya yurvela.
Tiganai. Me.
Oh, okay. So then number 3 is, since thought arises from some condition, it should be treated as incidental. So I think actually how we could take out we could probably just edit this a little bit to say, since thought arises from conditions, they should be treated as incidental, or the word actually is in Tibetan is lobur, which actually Khenpo was saying is misspelled in the Tibetan, which would really change the meaning, but actually the translation here did translate accurately what was meant, which is this term is translated as either incidental or temporary or adventitious. So I would probably choose the word temporary. So then based on that, the fact that the Tibetan had a mistake or was not properly, the spelling wasn't correct, Khenpo quoted the verse which says, if something kind of along the lines of, if sort of the relative language is not properly expressed, then it does not become that which expresses the ultimate meaning. And if the ultimate meaning is not understood, then it does not lead to enlightenment, or it doesn't lead to nirvana. That's all.
Tekare paja kunzup la tang tondam la tanda song ne suwa je wa chungjuk ne sarate kunzup tondam ko la te ta song sa kunzup matina tondam to thangmare so ting den ron jo bal khel ro ma ino so ore ta yaba de ro jungul lunga duje sen to pe mata par 시발샤서 대다 자자자 당하는 소케티 용아 그 용아 양 알트버게 룬다스 두제리 손레 사제 좀 된데 그냥 두제 담지 마다바서 대네 두제 임베준신께 Matapa metin banjura injiri sonre. Then Aranzo che te la ta sat che lunda la teni dad zonte tanachi che yore jiban zing yore te ko matapa njipura injiri dos te ta hikogre sonre.
Gongta ngoma de lungten yorwa tene di yang kare dun gi korla sumpa gi dun gi korla rebe yang na dinda de sik norwa gi dunda de re kain sana de sumpa de gi dun shira sum yo samarwa rebe
yeah Tojiche ta re 다 동다걸 히어와 남도 탐지
데든다 테스은 거 사마르
단 남도 탐지 lower 그마레서 lower 임베 준신 가르스 놓고 그 lower the then lower the park 잔로야 그런 인지리 소리 베나 난칼라 Nima te dream the zig Timbandoa, Timbanda that Tamji lower the Yunkadoa. In a lower the Kawa Chinsohamo down the door. They in the Maranzo Namto Shibate, Jin the Jin Baris, Jin the co, she passed Jin Zamna Dune, Jin by in Zam, Tenico, Ranginkeko, lower at the chat your reason.
So then as it says that thoughts should be regarded as incidental or just temporary or adventitious. So this is referring directly to the nature of the adventitious defilements or the temporary defilements. And so they are temporary because they temporarily arise and they depart, or they appear and then they dissolve. It's just like the clouds, the temporary cloud cover that appears in the sky. And so the sun is shining, and yet sometimes the sun's radiance is blocked due to the gathering of clouds. But these clouds are always shifting and changing, and then all of a sudden they are gone. And where have they departed to? They have just dissolved. And so they gather due to conditions. In the same way, the thoughts of the mind are temporary and fleeting. They arise based on conditions, and they arise and they dissolve. So they arise and they pass away, and therefore they are temporary because they are dependent upon conditions.
Semjiran yin tene, wu savaran yin, nima tab chad yore. Namdo tamjene, Namdo lasaba drama tamjene, loberwa timbana yin chad yore. Timba teke nekab sa nima wu the drip tabari mato, nima ngo the drip takami bari. Nima ngo te drip takami ba yin de, lower ke, Namdo nda tamji ki, Semjungo de depth of your mare. Semjungo the Garci lower Tamaka depth of Yobaina, Tini Tati Tamate pa Taparchi Gona, Kalekaboyore. The Semjungo de Demi by Insa, Tangaransola Sanje to compound Toyage, Dingsu, Chimbo de Tini Yore. Naranzo Sanje to compound Toyalan Betsun to Dingsu, you go at Dingsu. Dingsu de Dramal the lower Vayimba. Drama the lower Vayimba Jim Sinke, Tang Aranso or Drama the Pantokando, Drama the Sertavando, Ta Drama the Sertav Somain Passerina, then in Sanji compound. Tokando, Samyake, Dingsu de Drama the lower Vayimba did Chanatokuris.
Kung ta ding su tsikti ha kume.
Confidence, Zomar Ding Su Marta.
Okay,
Boba no, Chilona.
that's all. So the nature of mind itself, the clear light or luminosity, clear light luminosity nature of mind is like the sun. And the thoughts, the incidental thoughts or adventitious defilements are like the clouds. They are just temporary. Sometimes they appear, they arise and pass away. And so, but they never can actually taint or obscure the essence of the sun itself. They may block the radiance of the sun. The sun may not be visible when they are present, but the clouds never affect the sun's essence itself. It never actually affects or touches the sun. In the same way, the obscurations or the thoughts never alter or affect in any way the true essence of mind itself. And so it is simply a matter of clearing away or purifying the adventitious defilements, allowing the cloud cover to lift, to be lifted. And the reason why this is possible is because the essence itself has never been obscured. If the essence itself were or had been obscured, then there would be no way to become enlightened. There wouldn't be it would be very difficult to remove the stains from the essence, like trying to clear away the clouds from the essence of the sun. But since the intrinsic essence is ever shining and completely pure, just like the radiance of the sun, regardless of whether there is cloud cover or not, or regardless of the presence of the adventitious defilements or the lack thereof, then there is always the cause and potential for Buddhahood. And so this is where this confidence, we can have real confidence in that undefiled essence, and really understanding that the stains, the temporary stains and defilements never affect that in any way. And so therefore, it is actually really, it's actually very, or we feel very capable of actually being able to simply clear away or to remove the adventitious defilements when our true essence is understood as being intrinsically pure in this way.
Lower grand yin but the Maran to Soso ke Nirin Choan and Sam Tang Yang Hakota query, some no Tamayina. Bena Magic Jun Tong do control Sang Goyora, Jun della Dine. Control Sang do take a gene matic Sosorti Yapunda, which is Jena, control take Madoa your Garson Madoha. Ta hi chung zam na ten tik jin se de control ji song ta ti wo de ma de ge ya po chen de ti jin se de ne de ni yang control de me ba cha song de ni da jin ne ko jin de je ke yo ba dang de ni lower yin ba de ha ko ina sem de ko de yong ya da ge ko ga wa dang du wa de jo la su ba yong se ge yi da wo de Tela tarong arang to same good nelo la ko yo mare ko same korang la sam ta mai na ye do de tarong yun do de de do wa ti to ne ha ko yo same ka che zo ko lo la dem do ze ka tama tam je lower yin ba
So mi chiki chun kong so chun yo na control lang yore kong so ngat so chun yo ba lakin control ngat so control lang yore kare
churang ma chi ke churang ngat so ga ma chi ke chun thong ro ya chun non chur tene ngarang so
ngat so control
ngat so ma ga ba cha ga ro de ngat so control sa ga ro sa ga ro yang mate ke yapo chi indu ngarang so gagra madra de du nga so gab kapso ta hi control sa no ya de mi ba cha so control de ko lower word cha so
that's all. So the thoughts are conditional. The thoughts arise based on conditions, based on specific conditions. So it's not difficult to see this or to understand. For instance, if we think about it, if somebody points out our faults, or somebody accuses us, or says that we have been done something wrong, or that we are in the wrong or have made a mistake, then we might become angry, and so that anger has arisen based on that condition. But then if that same person treats us well, or if they are really good to us, then we don't have anger. We feel delight, or we feel affection for them. And so both of these are based on conditions. So not the lack of anger is based on conditions, and the arising of the anger is based on conditions. So whatever is based on conditions is temporary. So all that we respond to with like and dislike, or attachment and aversion, is based on conditions. And yet the essence of the mind itself is not conditional. It is not based on conditions. And so the obscurations, however, are. And so in this way, we can understand how thoughts being dependent upon conditions are temporary. They are incidental.
Oh, yeah. Ta yibate jungul lunga duje sun dokwe mata par shipar cha so. Ta kan ta ngaron so zupote jungwa yel trapar jungwa nga le traparis jungwa yang ngale. Ta ti jimchin ken duje cha so ri kantar. Te sanje ken duje tanji mata ba songdo. Oh duje yin zang kon jikbarang yin jin de drop de chur ko jong ang chur ru ru jen de drop ba yin jim chin ji pa de garang ton ro yo ba de he ke yo da ndi gaps je dang garang so pardo ke thika to so na pardo ka thi to so na yong ko yo re pe na ngarang so lu sala tempata wo long la tempata zhu me la tempata zona tini chegata nangata zona de ngarang zo hyang ba gab so chama ko te sung do hyap cha hyu sung yo ri da de zona na de so pacher silabda jin chin ke ta je ba yin yang de so ha ko tabya dan de so dimba ra tu tabya ga tanda samje ma cha ba song yong ko yore de ngi ma ro na da tanda ke tara ke chazo gulo chinrek la so ba tanda laksa me pa kap su chong yong wa ke tanda ke ryong de la tenan ka sang chinrek ha jang ke tar char che ba kap su de ye chama chinrek ke draw cha de yo ba dan chinrek de so ke ra chinrek tap che ji de so ngu yo dimbang cha de yo ba tanda mambo yong ko yor wa de insan ta gang tar yang ngaran chu zupo te ko nduje karang yin cham mata ba chari mata ba imba te ha ko gondo song re
So then the next of these things that ought to be known, number 4 says, since the body and speech are products of elemental forces, they should be treated as impermanent. And so since our body, or our physical embodiment, is based on a conglomeration of the 4 elements, the 4 or the 5 elements. Sometimes they are explained as 4, sometimes they are explained as 5. Anything that is subject to the elements is the nature of compounded phenomena, or it is composite. Composite in nature. And so, as the Buddha said, all compounded things are impermanent. And so therefore, this body also is impermanent. Anything that comes together is anything that is a sort of like comes together as a conglomeration also must disperse. And so therefore it is subject to destruction. And we really get a sense of this when we hear the detailed experiences of dissolution that are spoken of or that are taught in the teachings on the Bardo. So for instance, when we hear about how, the body being the nature of earth dissolves, and the breath dissolves into wind, or is the nature of wind, and this dissolves in the fire, or the digestive processes, and the heat of the body dissolves as the element of fire. And so there are many stages of like these dissolutions, the outer dissolutions of the elements, and the inner stages of dissolution. And there's a lot that is explained there. And in fact, a lot of this can be really supported by science. It's actually quite amazing, really, because all of this was, has been it came at, or these teachings come from a time really, prior to modern science, and yet even scientists today, a lot of what is explained, according actually to the teachings of the Buddhist teachings, can be supported. There's much of it that is supported by science, and so there really is a lot that, when looked at, from the perspective of modern day science, is actually really compatible with scientific thinking. And so in any case, the body is compounded in nature. It is a composite. It is the nature of compounded phenomena. It is a compounded phenomena. And so therefore it is impermanence, and it is important to understand it as impermanent.
Nanda zoke chi nanting ke yunglok pecha dacho tamje hang sanya ke ngene tane za chenbo yinba de mangbo je terang khacha ran thu ko yore telechi ngarang oni shinko dawo chi ne tanda lapkeme perna chu yo ngarang chu tara magic labdung chu to so na mu zupu tang tang pen ruba chi bo le ruba la le lam na chong ha ko de ruba ga le ka che yo ma chi le zupu na che ka che yo teni na lo ga dong an no do den de hie ji ja de ta tren nga cham sa te ton hang te ke yo ta ra chin re ge yang tra te zu ya le ke te tan de pe mesi ba ke kar la go da hang sang go ya ge ne dang mang bon do da rong da sem ke tolon de he jang de tenin chin re halam sar de him jok ji juri su hon do ching ping dam je nga chin re che ha ko go ma de yin na yang dan chin re je na kan chin re lam na da kan da ra o ra tu nang mu se ban dang da wo ji dan de ko mon de zam dang de ga za pa cha ya na xie ya ba ma yin ba sam je ma cha ba rin do wa de la yin zang da da ra nga ran zo lak par de ma da ba ko de sun sam da ma yin na san je ke lo ni dong da truk ja kata srewa ta tikap su song ya ke ne dang tham je de ka zang nguyo ne chon mang bo yong do ko yore nguyo ne chol la ga ke tarong ne dang mang bo yong ko yore te ndu ngarang so ta ga to la sam dang lak par to ta ma ta bo kon sam dang ndu ma ta ba la ya de ka du ina ya po ji duk ja chan ro do sa ya te ma re te mang bo ke te sam ro do 야보 참아 독자 차로 허사리 삼대 안 마다 발라 때 말아 타르토 독자 참아 야보 차야 다때 하고 거저 같이 말해 다른 거랑 주주보는 두제리 마다바리 송거yor대 대하 고소와이나 춘이 끝내로 소소라 대화 침비 이시 줄라 제야게 대행걸 나연 유라메 버그랑 인지 땡고 용거 여러와 대인자 되는 거라서 충충질라 차다 여러와 지바 나이 부나이 충충질레가 충충질라 차바지네 되니 tel라 땡무 네처인 tel란 세만진 딤바른진 되니 티게타 왕가 다 차당글 레만보산테 진도 여러와 되니 거 양단 통은 넘버 2 소마나 이게 군내당의 통 무유 네처든 통데 되니 저터고 이래 티 드론 트러블 라면 띵 존데 다 산제게 되니 저랑 마드로발 토와시베 타 밍아티 아 되니 트로와티니 되니 야 가르라고다 고 딱간다르제 희와냥일인데 벌다람 타르심바데데 산제 코랑 그때 또뇽 되는데 다른 거랑 저그 락바나나 야요바리 다 락바나 야바데 소소근다 냠니 나네 되니 소소소소라 다니다 근곤지 고요리 산제 숨바다트 오 다파제 드나 반 드나 참야로 드나 참야 the two tongues.
Data malab.
Data malab, Jin lab chore. The lab mean.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, Khenpo says we'll take a break here because actually now it's time to take a break, and then we will explain what he said when we come back, and he might have to repeat some of it, but we will cover what was just covered in Tibetan when we return at 11 Arizona time.
Simjin ba jinye ba nyurde ne le ta jer jen de ne na ma le ba ta don jo me ba jo. May every being aligned with the disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Janju Zunjo Rumbo Je Maji Bana Jija Je Ba Nyamba Meba Kona Kunda Bewa Sho. Thank you.